So, Muzaffar, last session we have seen how the constructor will help us to initiate the member variables of a class, and we have seen how many types of constructors are available, and after that we have seen one type of class which is called as static class, by which without creating an object itself we can directly work with the variables or methods with the class name itself. So that's what we have seen yesterday's session. So now this is the time to jump into the another topic which is called as abstract class. So before explaining this abstract class, so I want to give some kind of example, kind of another introduction of another important topic before get started with this abstract class, which means method overloading and method overriding. There are two very important concepts which will help us to clear the interviews. So in every interview, there must be a question saying that what is method overloading and method overriding. So we'll discuss that topic first. We'll start with the method overloading, and we'll jump into the concept of method overriding by explaining the concept of abstract class. Okay, so that you will cover two things. We will cover two things here. Abstract we will cover, at the same time we will cover the overriding concept as well. Okay, let's start with the method overloading. So what is the method overloading? Okay. So let's take one example here. So we already seen that topic, but so that time I haven't explained what is that method overriding and riding. So let me try to explain. Okay. So here, this is the program class. Inside the program class, what I'm going to do is I'm going to I want to perform one print method, okay, which will take the parameter, and without taking the parameter, like that I want to perform some kind of print functionality here. So how we can generally declare a method? We will have one public access modifier, and we need to have one return type, okay, and we need to have method name and opening and closing parentheses, and at the same time opening and closing braces to provide the definition of a method. Okay, yeah, this is what we have learned to declare a method. So here my intention with this print method is if someone call this print method, what I want to display here, we are at print method without taking any parameters. Okay, so if someone want to call this method, so what I want to display here is I'm just for our understanding, I'm just saying that we are at print method without taking any parameter. We are at print method which is not taking any parameters. Okay, so this is not taking any parameter, right? So I just want to print the message here. In terms of a message, I want to represent here. Okay, so how we can call a method? It's not a static method. So what we need to do? We need to create the object for our program. Okay, now we can able to call this. Okay, so p dot print. So if someone call this method, so if I try to execute this one, so we can able to see the output saying that we are at print method which is not taking any parameter, okay, which is without parameter or which is not taking any parameter. Okay, so now the intention is I want to create the another kind of method, same print method, but here I'm passing one string value as a name. Okay, so here I'm passing one print method as a name. Now here what I'm going to do here is we are at print method which is taking the name as a parameter, which is taking name as a parameter, and its name is 0. Okay, what is our name? Parameter name, right?
Name.
Okay, this is so. Here once I place this p, that object name, if I press the dot here, I can see the print method with two overloaded plus overloaded methods. Okay, let me make you clear. Let me make you more understanding here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the one more method with the same name as print. Okay, here I'm taking the name and address as two parameters. ADDRESS. Okay, and here message what I'm writing is we are at print method which is taking parameters which is taking name as parameter and its name is 1, and so the name. Here we are at print method which is taking name address as parameter and its name is 00 and address is 1. Here we can write the address. Okay, so here once I put this p dot string method, print method, if I press the this particular opening parenthesis, I can see the 3 different options. So first option is it is not taking any parameter. Okay, second option is taking name parameter. Third option, it is taking the name and address parameter. Right? Okay, what does it mean here is a method, this one, having the same name and different method signature. A method which is having the same name and different method signature is called as method overloading. A method which is having the same name and it's have the different signature. Okay, which is called as a method overloading. What does it mean here is here print for the method print has the same name. Here also we have the same name. Here also we have the same name. But in terms of passing the parameter, okay, here it is taking the, here it doesn't taking the any parameter. Here it is taking one parameter. Here it is taking two parameters. Okay, so this kind of methods are called as method overloading. So how we can define a method overloading here is in a class, okay, inside a class, a method which is having the same name and a different method signature. So what is the different method signature here is different data, the number of parameter and type of parameters. So it which need to be vary in terms of number of parameter or type of parameter. So let's try to create one more method, same method with the same with the same number of parameter and same type of parameter, and try to compile the program. So it's giving an error. Already defined a member called as print with the same parameters. So that's what I'm saying here. A method inside a class, a method with the same name and a different method signature. So what does it mean by different method signature here is it need to be vary in terms of number of parameter or type of parameter. It need to be vary in terms of number of parameter or type of parameter. So here two methods I declared which are having the same name. At the same time it has the two parameters, and at the same time it has the same type of parameter. So it doesn't falls under the method overloading. It doesn't falls under the method overloading. If it if it needs to comes under the method overloading concept, either it need to be vary in terms of number of arguments or parameter or type of arguments. Okay, did you get my point, Muzaffar?
Yeah, means method name can be same, but the parameters and or the argument should be different in
Yeah,
terms of.
parameter type or number of argument should be different. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm doing one more tweak here. So I'm going to take the same number of parameter, but I'm going to change uh, my data type as integer is, okay, and this float salary. Okay, so now try to execute our program here. I'm going to add this is, okay, salary. So if I try to execute my program, if I try to compile my program, it's compiled successfully, right?
So
Okay. What we did?
we passed different data type and different
Different type of
parameter.
arguments we passed. But here also it has the two parameters. Here also it has a two parameter, but we are differentiating in terms of type, data type.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's where it will be called as a overloaded method. Okay. So
So, Madan,
yes.
can we have an output for this? How the output will come? I want to see.
Yeah, we can able to do so. Take so based on calling, it will come the output. So let me share this. We are at print method, which is taking the age and salary as parameter. Its age, its salary. Okay. So here first I'm calling only print method, which will print this output, and I'm going to call the p dot. So one more method, name I am passing. So name I am passing is make me shop. Okay, p dot. So
Okay. At the
okay,
top, we need to declare variable.
yeah, p dot. I am going to pass the name and address. Make me shop. Okay, and address is Hyderabad. Okay, so which will call the this strings, this parameter, this method, and I'm going to call the one more method. Okay, so here age I'm going to as 30. It's a which is a integer. We need to pass the integer. Okay, and salary I'm going to put as 30,000. Okay, I'm calling this one. Okay, so here we are not passing any parameter, which will call this method. Here we are calling one parameter, which will call this method. Here we are calling two parameter, but string parameters. So whatever, wherever we define the string parameter, that will call. Here we are passing float and the integer parameter. So this will call this one. Okay, so that's how it will work. And if I start executing the program, 4 outputs we were able to see here. So we were at print method without taking any parameter. We were at print method which is taking name parameter and name and address and age and salary. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So this is the very important topic in terms of interview and in terms of practical, in terms of our regular activity also. This is the very important topic which you need to clearly understand. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So so I'm just testing you whether you clearly understand or not. So.
Okay.
So I'm going to remove this, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. So I'm going to write one program. Okay, public void add method, which is taking integer a, comma, integer b. So I just want to check how you understand this topic, because it is very important. I don't want to so this is the one, public float or else integer add method integer a integer b. Integer b. Okay, so I'm just returning, sorry, return a plus b. I'm just returning a plus b here. Okay, so these are my two methods, Muzaffar, here. Okay, one is add method, which is taking two integer parameter, so which return type has void. Okay, here I am writing one more method with the return type as integer, but it is taking same two parameter as same two integer parameter. You please explain me whether these two methods are overloaded methods or not.
Overloaded methods are not.
Yes, I want the answer from you whether these two methods are overloaded methods or not.
What?
So just understand what topic we have discussed, and based on that you just explain me. So are the two add methods which I just defined are overloaded methods or not?
Different. It should be have a different signature. And parameter and type difference with parameter should be different.
Here
Parameter
I am
type.
returning void. Here I am
Mhm.
returning integer.
Yes.
So are these two methods are overloaded methods or not?
Uh, One second. The method in class. And then it is different, I think,
Hmm?
because yeah, it is different.
So you mean to say those are the overloaded methods, right?
Uh, it is not overloaded method, I think, because it is written in void as he. No, no, one second. It is in the same name and different signature.
Signature. Same name.
Yeah, yeah, it is same.
It's same only or different?
It's same only. There are two methods are same with same name and different signature.
Is it having the different signature or same signature?
No, no, it is having different signature.
So you mean to say it's a overloaded method, right? If it is
Yes,
if it is a different, if it has a different signature, it must be overloaded method, right?
yes.
Okay. So let's try to compile the program. It will tell whether those are the overloaded methods or not. Why it is scolding us, Muzaffar?
With same parameter type. It is having same parameter type. It should be different parameter type and different argument list. So it is not a overloaded method.
Yeah. So why I ask this question is return type we never consider in terms of method signature or overloading concept. So in overloading concept, we need to only consider the number of parameter or type of parameter, not the return type. Muzaffar, this is
Okay.
very important thing you need to be remember.
Okay. We should only focus on parameter list, not on return time.
We should know only consider the number of parameter or type of parameter. Okay,
Okay.
but not the return type.
Okay, sir,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's why I have written the simple example here. So how interviewer will test you is he or she will write the program like this, and that interviewer will ask the question saying that are these two methods are overloaded methods or not. People most probably like will give the wrong answer saying that those are the overloaded methods. Okay,
Yeah.
but it should not be like that. So we only need to be consider in overloading concept, we only need to be consider the type of parameter or number of parameter. That's only we need to consider. We never care about the return type here. Okay, so you need to be keep this in your mind for your entire career. Okay, so are you understand Muzaffar about this? Hello, Muzaffar. Yeah, so you have understand about the concept of method overloading, right, Muzaffar?
Yeah, we should not focus on return time. We should always focus on return type and number of parameter which is there.
Yes. So there will be no confusion here, Muzaffar. It should be straightforward for you. You no need
Yes.
to be refer anything or any word about this topic here. So that's where
Yes.
I want to focus more on the topic. Even if it is taking 10 more minutes, that's fine for me, but you should understand this concept, basic concept. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Whenever if you int a comma b or whatever the parameters are there, we should just look up on over
mm,
there, but
yes,
not the return type.
yes.
You test me with one more example, like,
Okay.
so that
So, what I want to do here is, Okay. So I want to write one method which need to be overloaded method. Okay, that method is a send email method.
Send email.
Send email method. Send email
Yes.
method I need. Okay. Uh, uh, it should be overloaded method. First time, if you can call that send email method without passing anything, and later that later you need to define one send mail method with the sender and receiver email. Okay, and after that you need to create one more method with the sender receiver email and the subject. Okay, after that you need to define one more method with the sender receiver subject and the text that means the body of the content as well.
Okay.
So how we can define it?
Yeah. First, we need to create the methods public
Public
uh, void main
void. So that
main
name what I want is send email.
send email. Send
Send
email.
email. Okay,
Email.
so it should
Yeah.
not
For
take any parameters. Okay, that's why
yeah.
we are taking like this, and
Yeah.
we are just
Also,
typing this.
uh, just we can write anything like
Send
send
email.
a email method.
Just yes, send email method for our
Understand.
simplicity. We will like this.
After this, another method public void send email.
Yeah, after this, what we can do is
We can copy.
okay. Here, what we can do is sender and receiver email. Okay, so those are the string parameter. Sender, comma,
String
receiver,
receiver.
receiver. Okay, so send method with sender and receiver
Sender and
and
receiver.
receiver. Okay, so we need to create one more method, sender, receiver, and the subject.
Yep. Yeah. Public void.
Sender, receiver, and the subject. Similarly, string subject. Here instead of this one and subject.
Subject.
Okay, so this is how we can write it, and later point if we want to add one more method with the subject and the body, same.
We can.
Okay,
We can.
so we can do it whatever we want, we can do it. So this is how we can work with the overloaded methods, Muzaffar.
Yes.
Okay, it's a simple topic but very useful topic in our programming. Okay,
Yes.
subject and the body content, body. Okay, comma
It's
and body, right?
yes.
So this is the topic about method overloading.
Loading.
So method, I want to give one more point here. Method overloading always happen inside one class. Always
Okay.
happen inside one class. Okay. So I will give one more example. So for example, I have a class here. Okay, which is the which is which is product. Okay, inside that I have a method public void print method. Okay, I have another class Okay. This class name is customer. Okay. Here I have one more method, public void print method. Here it is taking string product name. Sorry, customer name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These are two classes. One is product class I have. One is another one is customer class I have. Here we have the print method. Here also we have the print method. So these are two having the two different method signature. It is having only a single parameter. It having only one parameter. Okay. So it doesn't
Okay.
have any parameter, but it is taking one parameter. In this case, is this print method is overloaded method from here to here consider. Is this print
Mm-hmm.
method is overloaded method?
Same but different city. Mm. It is not a overload.
Why Muzaffar? So it is different signature, right? It has
Yeah.
only one parameter. It doesn't have any parameter, but
Yeah.
it is taking the one parameter.
Yes, yes, it is a overloaded method because it is having a different signature. We should not focus on the template.
Okay. So still still the point
Sometimes,
hmm?
yeah,
Sorry?
sometime it looks like overlaid, but not. I need to get a little bit more. What you say that
No,
clear
no.
idea.
No, no, Muzaffar. See, so why I write this program here is to give the one more point for our overloading concept.
Okay.
Overloading, overloading method. So if we were talking about the overload, overload of method, it should be in a single class. It
Okay.
should be in a single class. If I write this print method inside the product class like this,
Okay.
okay, or
Then it will be.
if I write this print method inside the customer class,
Then
then
it will be overloaded.
these two methods are overloaded methods.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and here these two methods are overloaded method. But this is having another class and it is having in another class. If
So
that
it
is
is
the
not.
case, we will not consider that. We will not consider that as a overloaded method.
Okay.
Whenever you are talking about the overloaded method, you should consider whether the methods, whatever the overloaded methods are they in the same class or not. So
Okay.
here we have written all the methods. Are they in the program class only? Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's where we are saying that these are the overloaded method. But here in this example, print method we have, but it is related to the product class. So print
Okay.
method we have, it is related to the customer class. So we will not
Okay.
say that it is a overloaded method.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 points we need to remember. So I'm giving the complete definition. So so without confusion, just understand it. So how we can define the overloaded method here is a method within a class having the same method name and with different parameters or number of parameters is called as a overloaded method. A
Okay.
method, okay, within the same class having the same method name and different type of parameter and different number of parameter is called as the overloaded method.
Okay.
Any confusion here?
No, no, no. A method within a class with the same method name
Yes.
and a different parameters and number of parameters.
Number
A
and type of parameters.
number and type of parameters is known as a method overload.
Yes.
Overload.
Yep. So do you have any confusion now?
No. It should be method overloading should be within a same class, not
Within
in a
the
different
single
different.
class. Within the
Yeah.
class only we can consider it. Okay.
Okay, Madan.
So that's the point where we need to remember. So interviewer, what he or she will do is he will try to confuse you by writing these kind of examples.
Okay,
But
like
you,
giving different class.
yeah, different class and the different written types. Uh, they will try to confuse you at most. So as much as
Okay.
possible, they will try to confuse. Okay, you should you should need to be straight, and you should need to be understand the concept. Whatever they are trying to confuse you,
Yes.
you never need to be confused. You just need to say what you have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is very important question, Muzaffar. That's why so I'm stressing more on this particular part.
Yes, Madan. Method.
Okay. So you should be very clear. So
Yes.
let's think one more time and let me know if you are having any question. So
Okay.
just take one more minute of time. Just try to understand the concept and let me know if you have any question.
No, Madan. As of now, I think it should not come any doubt to me.
Okay, so that's fine. And let's move to the another concept which is called as abstract class. Okay, so which is called as abstract class. So before explaining this concept, so we already seen the concept. We have already seen the concept of inheritance, but this is not the right time. Let's first explain the concept of abstract class. Then we will go with the this one like a method overriding.
Right.
Okay. Previously we seen only method overloading. Now we can see the method overriding. Okay. So let's take an example how we can work with the method overriding. So riding and loading, you need to be very clear. Okay. So I'm going to define one class, public, sorry, class. Here my class name is product. Okay. Class name is product, and it has the sorry, public void print method. Okay. Public void print method, console dot write line print. I'm just writing this inside print method. Okay. And here let's this is the normal class we already seen. A class can have many, so a class can have member variables or member methods.
Yes.
So let's talk about the abstract class. So if I want to make any class as an abstract class, you should use one keyword in front of the class, which is called as abstract class. Okay, a class which having the keyword called as abstract is called as abstract class. A class which is having the keyword of abstract is called as abstract class. Okay. In addition that, if a class having the abstract keyword, it should have at least one. It should have at least one abstract method. So how we can say abstract method here is public void. Here what I can take the example is so I'm just taking one example, draw. I'm just writing one method which is named draw here. So if I define a method like this, I need to at least provide the sample statement, or I need to at least put the opening and closing braces like this. So
Yes.
my intention is in this method, I will leave this as empty. I will leave this as empty without without mentioning any method definition. Whatever the class is trying to inherit this product class, in that class I want to provide the definition. Okay, so let me make it clear. So uh, how we can define a abstract method is so any method, if you immediately close with the semicolon without giving any definition, and if it is having the abstract keyword for that particular method, that is called as abstract method. A
Mm-hmm.
method which doesn't have the method definition and it has the abstract keyword, then that method will be called as abstract method.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the important of this abstract method here is if I define a class as the abstract class, it will have at least one abstract method. Okay. How we can define one abstract method here is so immediately once you open and close parentheses, you should need to use one semicolon and you need to use one abstract keyword to define one abstract method. Okay, so the purpose of the abstract method is in my product class we don't know, or we are not defining the functionality of a draw method. Whatever the functionality of a draw method, we are not defining in this particular product class. Whatever the class is trying to inherit this particular product class, like class customer, and it is inheriting product class. Inside that product class, so I will write public override void draw method. Here I am providing the definition of this draw method in the derived class. In my child class, I am not mentioning any definition of a particular method, but in derived class, I am providing the definition. that is called as abstract method. Okay, so let me first explain the concept of a abstract method. Then we will explain the concept. Then I will explain the concept of abstract class. Then we will see the what is this override method. Okay,
Okay.
any method which doesn't have the this kind of method definition is called as abstract method. Any
Okay.
method which doesn't have the method definition or method body, okay, is called as abstract method. But if I remove this, for example, if I remove this here, will it directly call as abstract method? No,
No.
because what we in order to make that as the abstract class, you need to close this method with this semicolon, and in addition that you need to use one abstract keyword. Then only you will call this as the abstract method. Okay, how we can define one abstract method is a method which doesn't have the any method definition or method body and it has the abstract keyword, then we will call that method as the abstract method. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So the purpose of this abstract class is a class which is having at least one abstract method. Okay, then that class is called as abstract class. Okay, how we can define the abstract class? By using the keyword of abstract. Okay, a class which is having at least one abstract method, then that class is called as abstract class. How we can define a class as an abstract class here is with the help of this abstract keyword. In abstract class, you will have the normal method. At the same time, you can have the abstract method. If we consider the abstract class, there is a possibility of having the normal instance methods like this, and at the same time it may have it should have at least one abstract method. How we can define one abstract method? It should end with the semicolon and it should have one keyword which is called as abstract keyword. Okay, so that's where we can create the abstract method, and at the same time abstract, so we can create the class as an abstract class with the abstract keyword. So till now, do you have any questions with this abstract method and abstract class?
Abstract method should have a keyword
It,
of abstract, and after method closing it should have a semicolon,
it
and it
doesn't
should
have
not
the
have
method method
method definition.
definition.
And
Okay,
in an abstract class, it is declared by a keyword abstract, and it is having normal methods and and one
abstract.
abstract method.
Yes.
One abstract method only.
No, no. Any number of abstract methods is possible, but it need to have at least one abstract method. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to remove this one, and I'm going to remove this one. Control C, Control Z. Okay. Control K, Control Z. So a class which has at least one abstract method and it has the abstract keyword, then that class is called as abstract class. A method which doesn't have the method body and it has the abstract keyword, then it called as abstract method. So those are the two things we need to remember. So if we see here, this draw method doesn't have the method definition or method body. Where we need to provide that method body? In our child class, we are going to provide that. In our child class, we are going to provide that that method implementation. how we are providing that method implementation here is instead of using the abstract class, here we are using the override class with the same method signature. Okay, then whatever the method, whatever the functionality you want to write, you can write it like inside the draw method. Okay, so let me repeat again. We have seen abstract class is not abstract method is nothing but a method which doesn't have the method definition, and it has the abstract keyword is called as method abstract method. So if that is the case, we know abstract class doesn't have the method definition, but somewhere we need to give the method definition, right?
Yep.
We are not giving the implementation of this particular draw method, but somewhere of the program you need to provide that, right?
Yes.
So where we are providing that is in our customer child class, by inheriting this particular product class, we are providing the definition for this particular draw method. So how we are providing? Same method signature we are writing public override public void draw. In addition of instead of abstract keyword, we are using this override keyword. Okay,
Okay.
so this way we can provide the overriding this way we can override the this method implementation in our child class.
Okay.
Okay,
Class customer is a child class.
yes,
Product is a parent class.
yes.
Inherit. I think Madan, we haven't covered inheritance
Yes,
concept.
yes,
Later
that
on,
is
we
the,
can.
yeah, yes, yes. That's the next topic which we can cover. So
Okay. But for understanding, I understood because
yes, yes, it will.
the
Yeah, yeah. So that inheriting concept is there, like a kind of four types of inheritance are there. So I need to cover all the things. So once for now, just to understand that
I
inheritance,
understood.
yeah, inheritance is nothing but the extending the functionality of a parent class into the child class.
Okay.
Okay, so here we
I
have the product as the parent class, and we are having the customer as a child class. So what we are doing is in abstract method, we are not providing any method implementation or method definition. Where we are providing that method implementation here is in our
in
child
a
class
child
with
class
the
with
override keyword. Okay, we are providing the method definition. Okay, so
okay.
this is called as abstract class. But we have seen over loading, right? And
Yes.
I told you like we have one more concept which is called as overriding. Okay,
Yes.
so how we can define the overriding here is a method which has the same name and same method signature in child in parent and child class is called as a method overriding.
Okay.
Method overriding will always happen in two classes. Method
Okay.
overriding will always happen in two classes, but overloading will happen only one class. We have seen before.
Yes.
Overriding will always happen in two classes. Okay. Overloading will always happen in one class. Okay. But one more difference between the overloading and overriding is whatever the method we have, same kind of a method parameter only you can define in your child class as well. So
Yep.
for example, if I write one method like this, override draw of rectangle string name of name, will it called override overriding?
same name and same.
In overriding, you need to consider same method and same name of the method and the same parameter types. In
Yeah, but it is.
child class it look for the same parameter and same number of parameter. But here it has a two. It has a here we have defined the only without parameter, but we are defining the with parameters with one string
Yeah,
parameter. In this case, this will not called as the override method.
yes, because the and at the parent class we haven't declared a parameter.
Yes, that's where that's how like if I try to execute this one, see it's giving an error. No suitable method found override, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we haven't defined any such a method in our parent class. Okay.
yes.
So if we defined a parameter in such a way like this with the string parameter,
Then it is the overriding one.
string name, then it is the overriding concept. Now if I try to execute this one, if I try to compile our program, it is not giving any error because we define one method with the same with the string parameter, okay, but here also we are providing, but at the same time if you define a such a method in particular sorry, if you define such a method in our child class and if you try to execute your program without overriding that method, it will give an error again
Yes.
because in child you said you haven't mentioned the definition. So have you mentioned any definition for our string draw method, string
No, no.
parameter draw method? No, we haven't mentioned any definition for that. So that's where it is giving an error saying that doesn't implement the inherit abstract member, this one product draw string. Okay. So that's where we can understand the concept of overriding. Okay, overriding will always happen in two classes, which is called parent and child class, or base and derived class. Another name we can give it as a base and derived class, or parent or child class. Okay, so
Okay.
if you define a particular abstract method in your child class, so you should provide the override method for the same. Okay, then only it will work. So that the process of providing the override method for your abstract class is called as overriding concept.
Okay.
Okay, so how we can define the overriding here is a method which is having the same method name
Same method name
and same
and same
method signature in both child and the sorry, in both
parent.
parent and child class is called as a method
Overall.
overriding. Okay,
Yes.
but method overloading, how we can define uh,
Same name but different
method
parameters and number
signature.
of
Yes, yes.
parameters.
Yeah, that is called as a method overloading, and it's always need to happen in between inside a class,
One class
one
over there,
class
and
only.
you.
Okay, but here we have the two classes. You should apply in two classes.
Okay.
Okay, so that is how this particular overriding concept will work. So we covered two things here, Muzaffar. One is abstract class, and we cover actually four kind of concepts. So I will tell you. Abstract method we cover. Okay, what
Abstract
is
class.
the abstract method we covered, and after that we cover the abstract class. Okay, and after that we covered the override method. Okay, override method, and also we cover the override concept as well.
Okay.
Okay, four things we covered with this simple example.
Yes.
Okay, so let me give one example so that you can let me ask you one example so that you can easily understand that. You can easily understand it. So here, mm, okay, employee. What we can do it. So yeah, so I need to have two classes. One is employee class and second one is salary class.
Okay.
Employee class I need, salary class I need. Okay, in employee class I need to have one method which is called as abstract method. That method name need to be calculate salary. Okay,
Okay.
in salary class I want to provide the method implementation.
Okay.
Okay, so how we can do it?
First we need to create an abstract class.
So
Yeah.
abstract. Okay,
Abstract
class.
class
Yeah, so my class name I
employee
am giving it as employee.
employee
Okay, here I need to have a method. The method name is
yes.
calculate salary. That need to be abstract method.
Yeah, first we need to have a uh, normal method like printing
No, no,
statements from.
it's not like that. There is no need of having the normal method, but it has at least one abstract method.
Okay, like abstract method needs to have abstract keyword abstract.
Okay, public.
Okay, so public
Okay,
and
void.
salary
Void
void.
is the return type. Yeah,
Yeah,
calculate salary is my method.
calculator name, calculate salary,
Calculate
calculates salary,
salary. Okay, then
parenthesis,
parenthesis,
opening and semicolon.
semicolon. Okay,
Yeah, then
now
I,
I
I
need to
create
have
an
a
another.
salary class.
Yeah, yeah.
So how we can create a salary class?
Class
I need to have a salary class that need to implement the calculate salary method.
calculate salary method. Class name as salary,
Okay,
sa-
class name as salary.
salary,
Okay,
uh, and
semicolon.
semicolon, and in the parent class name is employee,
Employee. Okay,
and in parenthesis we need to pass the uh, override method.
yeah.
Yeah,
How we can define
public override
public override
override
void
override and the method name
void.
calculate salary.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah,
So
and
here
we need to.
whatever the functionality we can write it.
Okay.
This is how. This is how the base functionality of a overriding will work. Okay.
Okay.
So if you understand the basic functionality, you can write. So this is how this we are also writing in our real-time program, where we have the employee class and where we have a salary class, and we are calculating the salary in that particular employee in our salary class.
Madan bhai, this at the bottom, our main method, that remains same. It doesn't affect anything to
Here,
the bottom. Yes.
yeah, this is if I want to execute or for example, here I want to get the salary of a method, salary of a employee. So for example, see, so salary I want to get is the salary of the employee is 10,000, something like I have written 1,000 I have written. If I want to print this output, what we need, it need to start from the main method, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then what you can do is you can simply create a object for your salary class. Salary s equal to new salary. Okay, and with this s you can call this calculate salary method. Sorry, not this. With this s we can calculate, we can call this calculate salary method, and you can
We can
get the output.
print state. Okay.
Okay, so if I execute this one, you can get the output. The salary of a employee is 1,000. So this
Yeah.
so whatever we have, right, it will never call until you call this from the main method.
Yeah. We need to create the object and call the method.
Yeah, in main method itself, if you call, then only those operations will call.
Yes.
So that's
So
why
what is
I
the?
yeah.
So did I say correctly, Madan?
Yeah, correct. So you said correctly only this concept. So let's summarize the method overriding and method overloading. So overall concept, what we need to understand here is, so we can write differences like this, Muzaffar. So method overriding. So first definition you need to write in both the ends so that you can easily remember. So how we can write the definition of a overloading here is a class inside a class uh, a method having the same name and different method signatures, which means number of parameter or type of parameters, different number of parameter or type of parameter, then those are called as overloaded methods. Okay, so same definition how we can define for our overriding concept here is
Method.
a method in a method in parent and
Two class.
child class, parent and child class having the same method name and the same type of parameter and the same number of parameter, then we will call it as then we will
Over.
call it that those methods are overriding methods.
Okay.
Okay, so that is so different. So overloading always happened inside a same class. Overriding always happen in between two classes.
Okay.
Okay, and another thing is in overload concept we never consider the return type. Okay, here, but in terms of overloading concept, in overloading also we will not consider this return type. Overriding or overloading
Overriding.
will not consider the return type.
Yes.
Okay, that's called as this is how you can see easily remember.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the concept of overloading, overriding, abstract class, and the abstract method.
Abstract method.
Okay, so that is the concept. Let's see the another concept here. Okay, so another concept what we have is interface. Okay, so let's see how we can work with the interface. Let's see how we can work with the interface. Let's comment out this one. So it will help us to compare the difference between the particular abstract class and the interface. Okay. So how we declare the abstract class? With the name of abstract keyword, with the help of the abstract keyword, we define a abstract class. Okay. Let's see how we can work with the interface. So how we can define an interface here is you need to use one keyword which is called a interface. So you no need to write class again. You just directly define it as an interface. Okay, interface. So that interface name, whatever you want, you can give it. Employee. Okay, inside the interface, all methods need to be abstract methods, and those are need to be public methods. All methods must be the abstract method, and those are must be the public methods. So how we can define an abstract method? Same example, we can take it like this. Okay, same example, we can take it. Abstract public void calculate salary. Okay, in
Yes.
interface, all methods need to be abstract method, and it should be public methods. Okay, even though we are saying that all methods are abstract method and public method, you no need of mentioning those two keywords in the interface. You no need of mentioning those two keywords in the interface. Okay, you can remove it. So but even though if you keep that, it will give an error. Let's see how it behave. So it's giving that the modifier abstract does not valid in terms of this item. Public is not available. So by definition we are saying that all methods of a interface is abstract methods, and those need to be public methods. Okay. But even though we are defining in such a way, if you try to give the abstract keyword and the public keyword while defining the abstract method inside the interface, it will not take that one. It will not take. So you should remove this one. So this is how we can declare an interface. Interface, how we can define an interface is with the help of interface keyword, we can define an interface. Inside the interface, all methods must be the abstract and the public methods. Okay. So inside the abstract class, we used to write normal methods as well as abstract methods. Right.
Yes.
So while defining the abstract class, I said abstract class can have the normal method, and at the same time it can have the abstract methods as well. But
Okay.
in terms of interface, it should contain only abstract methods only. It doesn't. If you try to create any kind of normal method, something like this, public void. Okay, so public void, and that particular void print something like this. If you try to give the normal method, it will give an error. If you try to execute this one, compile this one, the modifier public is not valid in terms. Even though, let's try to remove this public and try to execute the program. So it's saying that interface member cannot have the definition, right?
Okay.
Interface doesn't have the definition. So what does it mean here is interface always having the abstract methods only inside the interface. Inside the
Okay.
interface, it is not possible to create the normal methods. It only takes the abstract
Abstract
method.
method.
Okay, so how we can inherit the interface? Same way. So what you can do is class,
Interface.
my class name is salary
Salary.
colon
Colon.
and the
Employee.
employee. Okay, now you can write the code. So here itself, if you put like public, let's comment this one, let's copy this, put it here. Okay, so this is how we can work it.
Okay.
Interface is nothing but how we can define interface is uh, a, 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 a particular class or interface having the only abstract methods, then it will called as interface. Okay, how we can extend that interface here is a similar way of abstract class. So salary, that employee, here also we can use this override method to override the functionality of a calculate salary method. Okay.
Okay.
So only difference what we need to understand between the abstract class and the interface here is in abstract class there is a possibility of having the normal methods, that means instance methods, as
Normal
well
method
as
and abstract.
abstract methods. But in terms of interface, there is no possibility of having the normal methods. It should be have only abstract methods.
Yeah.
Okay, that is called as interface. So the inheritance
Yeah.
concept of interface and the abstract class is same. But
Yes.
only declaration part we are having the difference between the abstract and the interface. In terms of abstract class, there is a possibility of having the normal method as well as
Methods as
abstract
well.
methods,
Method.
but interface it has only abstract methods.
But in we can't give a name
Yes, yes,
name in the interface as public
abstract
and
and the
abstract.
abstract it will not take, but we are saying that it will be the abstract method, but due to some kind of limitations, I don't know like what is that kind of limitation. uh,
Terminology is not.
yes, that is not accepting those two keywords.
Okay,
Okay.
madam. Very easy.
Yeah, so that's the only difference between the interface and the abstract class. So let's see what we have the another concept. Okay, so the another concept what we have is a partial class. So the another concept what we have is a partial class. And let's see how we can work with the partial class. Okay, so let's see how we can work with the partial class here. So you clear about this abstract and the interface, right? So
Yes, madam.
let me remove those two classes. So the other concept what we have is a partial class. So how we can work with the partial class here is, let's define one class first. That class name what we have is customer. Okay. So here inside the customer, I'm defining one method, public void get first name, or else what we can do is what we can do here is get customer detail, get product details. So I have the customer class. Get customer details is one method. Okay, so this is one method, console.lighten. I'm defining it as inside customer details method. I'm defining it. Okay. Okay, this is the one, and I want to define a class with the same name. I want to define the class with the same name, where I want to write one more method, get product details. Here instead of customer details, I am defining it as get product details. Inside product details is product details. So I want to have two classes with the same name. In one class, I am defining the get customer details as a method, and another class I'm defining get product details as a method. Okay, so I'm trying to execute my program here. I'm trying to compile my program. It's saying that already contains a definition for customer. So it's saying that the class already defined with the name as customer. If you want to define the one more class, you need to use the one more name, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, but I don't want to do that one. With the same name only, I want to do in a two different classes. Okay. So you may say like instead of writing different method, different class, you can copy this one and you can paste it here itself, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the one way. But in terms of some kind of a bigger application development or so complex application development, there need to be a cases where you need to define your class with the same name like this. Okay, like whatever we are thinking, that's correct. Instead of doing this one here, so you can copy this one and you can paste it here inside the same class. Okay, so there are some situation in our complex application development, so where you can define the classes with the same name differently. Okay, if I want to achieve that kind of behavior here, that partial class will help us. Okay, what we need to do is in front of the class name, if you use the partial as a keyword, same here and here, it will not give any error. So let me try to compile here. Will it give any error here?
No.
No, because we are saying that so what is the meaning of the partial? Incomplete, right?
Yes.
Partial means incomplete. We are saying that
Incomplete.
this is the incomplete class and this is also incomplete class. So we are giving a hint to the compiler. This class is not a complete class. There may be chances of in this program where they can define the same name of a particular class. So
Yep.
we are giving the indication to the compiler. So if you remove this one, it gave the error because the same name of class will not allow in our programming, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
we are giving the indication to the compiler saying that this is the incomplete class and later point of time in the same program, there might be a chances of using the same name of a class. Okay,
Yep.
so that's where we are giving an indication. So if I create the object for my class here, so my class name is customer c equal to new customer. If I declare a class like this, object like this, if I define this one, am I able am I able to see the two methods, get my customer details and get product details. Even
These are
though,
the class names.
yes, even though we have defined two different partial classes, while you declare the object for the class, it will combine all the partial classes as a single class. Okay, then all methods you
Okay.
can able to access it, get customer details and get product details. Okay.
Okay.
So let me repeat again. So there need to be assume that there is a scenario. I have a class where I want to define one method. With the same class name, I want to define some more methods. So assume that in first customer class, I define 10 methods. In another customer same class, I want to define 10 more methods. Okay. So if that is the case, C# will not directly allow to define the same class with the same namespace. Okay. So
Yes.
it will give the error. So to
Yep.
avoid that error, we are using one more keyword which is called as partial. Okay, that partial keyword will tell the compiler saying that there is a possibility in the below program user can use this same class name.
Okay.
Okay, that kind of indication it will give the compiler. So even though if you write two different partial classes, once you define the object for the particular customer class, it will combine the all the partial classes and all the methods can be accessible with the same object.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the concept. So if you define a class with the partial keyword, that class is called as partial class. Okay, that will
Yeah.
help us to define the multiple operation in our programming.
Yeah.
Okay, so wherever there is a chance of writing the complex programming, if you want to define a class, some functionalities in somewhere and another functionalities in another where in somewhere, so then you need to use this partial class concept. Okay, so this is how we can work with the partial class.
Yep.
So, having any questions, Muzaffar, here partial class?
No, Madan bhai.
Okay.
We are creating two classes with same name but passing different methods, but we are still able to access the partial class by creating one object.
Yes, yes, that's the concept of partial class
Partial.
here. Okay, so let's see what is the another topic. Okay, so data abstraction and data encapsulation. So data abstraction and data encapsulation. So I will give this example and we can close this session.
Okay.
Data abstraction and data encapsulation. So okay, so data abstraction and data encapsulation. Okay, so let's first provide the let's first try with an example. Then we will see what is the data abstraction, and then we will see what is the data encapsulation. Okay, so here this is the example what I want to provide. So here the my example what I am taking here is so what I'm taking here the example is okay. I want to write one simple method which can help us to divide two numbers. Okay, I want to write one simple method which can help us to define to divide two numbers. Okay, so basically I want to implement straightforwardly like I want to implement one divide function which can help us to divide the two numbers. So if I pass 10 comma 5, the answer I am expecting is 5, sorry 2. Okay. So so if I pass 20 comma 2, I am expecting 10 as the answer here. So that's where I want to build one logic here. For that, first what I'm doing is I'm creating one class, okay, with the name divide function. Inside that, I'm taking the two numbers, first number, second number, and one function I'm defining here with the name divide function, which means divide function. What we will call that? The name of the function and the name of the class and the name of the method is same. Then what we will call that?
Same. Uh, f- uh, just now we discussed that overriding.
No, no. Same of the name of the class and the
Hmm.
method name. If the name of the class and the method name is same, name of the class and method name is same, Muzaffar.
So overriding.
No, no. a constructor, right?
Yes. Yes.
Basically, if any class having the
Yeah.
same name of a method name, then that is
Same type.
called as constructor, right? If the
Yes.
class name and method name is same, then that will be the constructor.
Yes.
Okay.
Class name. Class name and the method name is same as
Same.
constructor.
Yeah, that is called as constructor. Okay. So here I declare one constructor. So my it is taking two parameters. Okay. First name and second name. It is assigning two parameters here. Okay. And other method what I have is calculate method I have. Okay. The purpose of that calculate method is whatever the first number we are passing and whatever the second number we are passing, that divide those two numbers and it will return the returns as a double value. Okay. This is one method. Okay. I have defined one more method here with the name validate. Okay. Basically while applying the while applying the concept of divide, there is a chance of passing the there is a chance of getting an error as divided by zero error. Okay, basically if you want to try to divide any number by zero, it will give it is not possible mathematically. Okay, so
Yes.
to handle that kind of scenario, I mentioned that one method. I have create one method. Here I am checking that if the second number equal to 0, then I am saying that I am throwing an exception saying that dividend must not be 0.
Yeah.
Okay, must not be 0 like this. I'm giving an error to the end user. So let me repeat again what I have defined in the class. I have a class which is a divide function is my class name. So which is taking two parameters and it has one constructor. Okay, that constructor will take a two parameter first name and last name. Those will be defined like this. So I have one more method which is called as the calculate method. Okay, so inside the calculate method, I'm just performing one operation as divide operation. Okay, and I have one more method in my class which will help us to validate whether the particular dividend is 0 or not. If it is a 0, instead of dividing that, it will give the error. Okay, so that's where we have written two methods here. Here what I'm doing is first I'm creating the object for my constructor. I'm passing two values 10 comma 5. What will happen? The 10 will be stored into the first number and 5 will be stored into the second number here. Again what I'm going to call here is so with this D object I'm calling this validate method, and for this D object I'm calling this validate method. Okay, now what it will do, it will check whether the second number is 0 or not. If it is not the 0,
Okay.
then it's fine. If it is a 0, it will give the error. Okay,
Okay.
and after that what I'm going to do is I'm going to call my calculate method. Okay, I'm going to call my calculate method to perform this division operation,
Okay.
right? So whatever the 10 by 5, 10 will go here and 5 will go here. 10 by 5 which means 2. Okay, that 2 will return and it is going to be stored in the double argument here. And here I am writing one console.write line and directly I am printing the value here. Okay, this is the basic program what we have written. Okay, whenever we are trying to execute this program, so we passed the 10 comma 5 and we got the output as 2. which is
2.
correct, right?
Yep.
Okay. So here, what is our intention to write this program, Muzaffar?
To check data abstraction and data
No.
encapsulation.
Basically, forget about that data abstraction and encapsulation. So what is the intention to write our program? To
To
get the
get the
division, right?
dividend of the two numbers.
Division of a number, yeah, dividend of a number or division of a two numbers where we need to get. Okay.
Yes.
So in order to do that, so what operations we perform here? Two operations we are perform. We are
One we
first
have performed.
validating, okay, and after
Yes.
that we are calculating.
Yes.
Okay, so in order
Yes.
to perform the division operation, we are performing the two operation. Okay,
Yes.
one is validate. First we are validating whether this dividend is 0 or not. We are validating, and we are calling this calculate method to perform the division operation, right?
Yep.
Two
Yes.
operations we are performing to perform the simple operation, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Uh, in order to perform the simple division operation, what end user need to call? Two methods you need to call. First you need to call the validate method, and second you need to call the calculate method. Okay.
Yes.
So here, how we can say about the data encapsulation here is avoid the, okay, complexity uh, to the end user. That means what I can say is so hiding the complexity to the end user, or avoiding the complexity to the end user. So instead of doing two operations, if you change your program in a such a way where end user can call the calculate method, which in turn it need to validate the that particular validate method, and it need to calculate the output. So in order to do that, what we can able to do, instead of separately write this particular validate method to call it here, here itself you can call it. In our program itself we can call it. How we can call it? Validate method. So if you put the validate method here, then what end user will do? Instead of calling two methods, so end user can avoid this line of code. Then
Yes.
what will happen? End user only call this method. Automatically inside the calculate method, we are calling this validate method. The end user will not aware of what we are doing in our class, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so basically we are like hiding the complexity to the end user.
Okay.
That complexity we are doing in our program, but for end user he need to only call the one method to perform the one operation. This will be the simple for
Yes.
the end user.
Yes.
Okay, so that concept we can call it as data encapsulation. So avoid the complexity to the end user as much as possible is called as data encapsulation. Okay, so
Okay.
I will give a simple example here. We have a fan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if we have a fan, it has the several kind of it has several kind of components. It has the wings, it has the motor, and it has some kind of other like electrical material. Okay, as an end user, so am I aware of is there any need of to understand how the capacitor will work, and how current is passing from electric board to the fan? Is such things I'm like aware of that one in order to use the fan?
No.
No, right? So that complexity who will take care? Then manufacturer is taking care.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where we are just switching on the fan and we are able to get the result from the fan here.
Yes.
So that complexity who is handling, that manufacturer is handling here.
Yes.
Okay, as a programmer, if I write some program, so as much as possible, I need to reduce the complexity to the end user. Okay, so that kind of reducing the complexity to the end user or hiding the complexity to the end user is called as a data encapsulation.
Yes.
Is called as data encapsulation. Instead of
Yes.
performing the simple step, instead of performing the simple operation, if you provide the 10 methods to perform the simple operation, will it called data encapsulation?
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, Madanu?
So basically, I want to perform one simple operation. For that, if you provide 10 method calling to perform such kind of simple operation, will it called as a data encapsulation?
No, no, no.
So
Because we
as
need to
much as
hide the
possible,
complex.
yeah, as much as possible, we need to reduce the complexity.
Yes.
So that's the point where we are working with the data encapsulation. Any program, if you perform any kind of program, if you perform, which is called as data encapsulation, means so that complexity you need to handle in your program, that end user need to feel it's a very simple.
Yes.
Okay, that concept is called as the data encapsulation. So here how we are defining the data encapsulation is hiding the complexity to the user is called
Yes.
as a data encapsulation. Hiding the complexity to the user is called as a data encapsulation.
Calculation.
Okay, so are you understand, Muzaffar?
Yes, Madan bhai. Basically, we are trying to hide some programming line
Complexity.
from the complexity from the end user.
Yes, so that concept is called as data encapsulation. Okay, so what is the data abstraction? So what is the data abstraction? So if we see here, uh, what is this data abstraction here is, so what I can say is, what I can say here is data abstraction. So the whatever the uh, like kind of needed information or necessary information the user needed, that information only we need to give it. Okay, see what happened. So we reduce the complexity here by using the data encapsulation. We reduce the complexity here. Instead of calling the two methods, what we did is we are calling only one method. In in calculate method itself, we are calling this validate method. So that we are reducing the complexity to the end user. Okay, so that's fine. Now the thing is, even though I reduce the complexity to the end user, still if I define the D object, so with the D object, so I can able to see the calculate method, and at the same time I can able to see the validate method.
Yeah.
So we reduce the complexity, right?
Yes.
We reduce the complexity in calculate method itself. We calling this validate method. Then user
Yes.
can call only calculate method to perform the operation. But still problem what we are seeing here is even though we reduce the complexity to the end user, still I can able to see the validate method, which is unnecessary to the end user, right?
Yes.
Which is unnecessary to the end user. How we can restrict that one? So what we
Yes.
can see is simply if you go here, change this private to the public to the private. Okay, then come here. Okay, am I able to see my validate method here?
No.
That is called as data abstraction, Muzaffar. So what we are doing is providing only necessary details to the user.
Okay.
Means that validate method, user no need to see that particular validate method. Okay.
Yes.
So because we are using internally in our calculate method, this is the unnecessary information which we are providing to the end user. To make it more secure, what we are doing, instead of making this as a public, we are making this as a private. Okay,
Right.
so that it will not visible to the end user. So that it
Yes.
will not visible to the end user. User feel that there is only one method to perform this calculate method. Okay, but internally we have our own methods validate, but which is not needed for the end user. Okay, so that kind of concept is called as data abstraction. Simple way how we can understand is um, hiding the complexity to the end user, or reducing the complexity to the end user is called as data encapsulation, and providing only necessary details to the user is called as data abstraction. Provide
Abstraction.
provide only necessary details to the user is called as data abstraction. How we
Data
can
abstraction.
how we can achieve the data abstraction here is by using this private keyword. By
Okay.
using this private keyword, by using this pivot keyword, we can hide only we can hide the details to the end user.
Yes.
Okay, so that's called as data abstraction. Providing only necessary
Yes.
details is called as a data abstraction. So reducing the complexity or hiding the complexity is called as a data encapsulation.
The time.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is a very what I can say is it's a kind of a debate question, Muzaffar. So what is the
Okay.
data abstraction and what is the data encapsulation is a debate kind of question. So
Yes.
if you search this for this information, if you search the internet, or in any kind of if you search in the internet, you will totally get confused.
Yes.
So one will
But
return some definition for the data abstraction, and another will return some definition for the data abstraction, and same data encapsulation as well. Okay, so my suggestion for
yes.
you is just understand the concept with this example.
Yes. Like we are providing only necessary detail to the user by providing by making public to private, and data encapsulation means hiding the complexity to the user.
Yes, end user. So instead of working with the two methods, we are providing the option to work with the only one method. So that is the called
Yes.
of providing the reducing the complexity to the end user. But in terms of hiding, when we comes under the hiding, so instead of using this public, if you make this as a private, even though this is unnecessary, the user will not able to see this information. Before I was able to see the validate method, right, with this D object.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
now I make this as a private, so outside of the class it is not visible. Okay, so that's the way we are
Yes.
using data encapsulation, sorry, data abstraction and data encapsulation. Data encapsulation is very simple, straightforward, reducing the complexity to the end user or hiding the complexity to the end user. So when we comes on data abstraction, so providing only necessary data to the end user is called as data abstraction. How we can achieve the data abstraction here is by mentioning the public with the private keyword, we can do that one.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, Madan bhai.
so this is the session for today, Mujibur.